So we know God's vision is for all the nations, all the people, all people groups, every lost person everywhere to come into the knowledge of Jesus Christ. That's God's heart. That's His vision. But now we need to talk about what is the strategy. What is the strategy that God has given to us so that we can join Him in reaching every person? How do we go about this? This is a very important question. We can go about it our own way, according to our own understanding, or we can do it according to the Bible and follow the strategy that Jesus has given to us in the Bible. And that's very important. If we do it our way, we cannot expect to reach all people. But if we do it God's way, we can expect that He will help us and that His strategy will work. And we will find that we are able to reach so many people, so many lost people we can reach for Jesus Christ. So let's talk about the strategy that we need to use to reach the world for Jesus Christ. So all of us have learned to reach the world for Christ using what I call strategy A. This is the way we have all learned. It is the traditional way to reach people for Christ and to disciple them. Strategy A is based on a building that we invite people to come into. So, to build a Strategy A church, we first must have some land to build the church on. We have to have some land. Now, of course, to get some land, we're going to need some money. Then we're going to have to find the materials to actually construct some kind of a building so that we can invite people into that building. And of course, the materials for the walls and for the roof, that's going to cost more money. Now, in order to invite people into our building so they can know Christ, we're going to have some furniture in the building, maybe some kind of a podium for the pastor to stand behind. And we're going to have some benches and chairs for people to sit on. So, of course, those things are going to require some more money. Now, we're also going to have a pastor of some kind with some training. He probably has to go to Bible school, which costs some more money. Now, inside the building, of course, it's always helpful if we have some musical instruments and things to play with the worship, and those things cost some more money. So, the process of building a church in order to invite people into it is very expensive, and it takes a lot of time. So, we have to take the time to raise the money, to find the people, to bring them into the building. And then, of course, to go find the building, we also often have to go out and have a crusade and maybe have a nice tent and people coming. And to do a crusade and invite people to come in, that requires more money. Finally, when we do finally get people into our church building, we generally have them sit down in the benches and listen to sermons. So at the end of the day, I call strategy A the come and sit strategy. Come and sit. With this strategy, the focus is on making members, inviting people to come into our church building, sitting them down, teaching them from the Bible, raising money from them, and that is the strategy that is being used all over the world in building buildings and inviting people to come and sit. Now, there is another strategy that we find in the Bible, and I call it strategy B. The B is for Bible. And this strategy is based upon Matthew 28:18-20. And we know this verse. It is where Jesus told his disciples to go into all the world, make disciples, baptize them, teach them to obey. Now, when we baptize and teach a disciple to obey, then that disciple will obey also by going. And so he will reach another disciple. And when those disciples are taught to go and obey, they will also go and reach more disciples. And those disciples will do the same thing, reaching more disciples. And now we begin to have a disciple-making movement where disciples are making disciples who are making disciples. And now we have a movement of multiplication. So I call this strategy go and multiply. Go and multiply. So this is the strategy that Jesus gave us in Matthew chapter 28. He told us to go and make a disciple who will obey. When I go and make a disciple who will obey, what will he do? That disciple or that disciple will go and make more disciples. And if he teaches those disciples to go and to obey, then those disciples will go and make more disciples. So here we have a strategy that's about going and multiplying. In this strategy, the disciples meet wherever they can. It doesn't matter where they meet. They can meet in houses. They can meet under trees. They can meet anywhere that is easy to meet at, because in this strategy, every disciple is busy going. And in this strategy, every disciple is learning how to be an obedient disciple. So every disciple is involved in going and multiplying. And that is why in strategy A, you have one or two people who are doing ministry. They are the pastors. They are the important ministers. and then everybody else is learning to come and sit. In strategy B, every single person is learning to be an obedient disciple, learning to be a minister for Jesus Christ, learning to go out and make disciples who will make more disciples. So they are learning to go and multiply. Now, I am not against strategy A. I am not against it. I am happy that there are people that are building buildings and reaching people for Jesus Christ. I am happy that they are there. I have to just say that for me, this strategy is no longer the way I want to go. I have learned and want to continue to go according to Matthew 28, and so I'm using a different strategy. Not everybody is going to use strategy B. If they want to keep using strategy A, I will just bless them and say, God bless you, go and build some more buildings. But for me and for many people, we are learning to use strategy B because we want to go and multiply disciples who will multiply more disciples, who will multiply more disciples, so that we can see a movement of disciples taking place throughout the world. So that we can see people who are reaching others, where everybody is involved. And we believe this is a very good and powerful and important strategy to see God's vision that every person be reached for Jesus Christ.